CLV on you right now.
Who's got the CLV? I have the CLV, not you.
You got it, Joe. Who's the best cop? You're the best cop, Joe, all right?
I got the CLV. I got
Who's the best cop?
CLV.
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
eTaste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. eTaste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sensed digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufus!
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
The St. John's Red Storm at 9. Don't give me that funny face, Mike.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Well, where I'm going is that I think that Duke, Houston, Tennessee, and for me, St. John's are the 4 best defensive teams in America. I want to know how in God's name they could possibly be 9 on yours.
It's Pharrell, Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On days are getting cooler
The shadows are getting longer.
You know what that means? It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
Here we go, Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us here on a Wednesday night on the grid. Very busy Wednesday night. We've got lots of NBA tonight, tons of college basketball as March is here and in full swing, as we know. We've got actually a bunch of hockey games tonight. Usually Wednesday's pretty lighter than other nights, but you still got 5 or 6 games cooking this evening. We've got lots of football news and golf as the Arnold Palmer tees off tomorrow. So does the Puerto Rico Open. Got to live this weekend, too. It's a pretty busy golf weekend as we get ready for the 5th major next week with the Players. So we have all of that. Mike Carver here with you. Sans Joe. Joe out on assignment. So it is a Wednesday in March. Carver and sometimes Lisi is what we have for ourselves this evening. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to have a good time. Hitler Bell's in the mix as well, fresh off of a day at the tennis tournament out there in Cali. So now he tweeted like a whole bunch of plays from there. I don't know if they hit or not because, as you know, me and Joe are on I think I said a 60 or a 90-day tennis betting ban after the Fonseca disaster from a few weeks ago. But I think that Matthias had a pretty good day out there at the tennis tournament. How was it, Matthias? The weather looked nice. You said it was going to rain or something in the tweet.
You know, we were expecting the rain to get here, but it didn't. Mike, it's just raining in Los Angeles. It's not raining over here in the desert, and it's sunny. It's nice. It hasn't been too windy. And I've been hot until I wasn't. Kosmanovic really killed me right here against Griekspoor. But overall, still a good day. But I'm pretty salty. I'm pretty salty. It's hard to get to play live things there as well. The internet's so bad, so you got to get everything in before you get it onto the grounds.
Got to get everything in before you get on the ground. So you're a little salty about that, it sounds like. It sounds like that. You weren't very happy about that.
I'm watching comebacks left and right. I wish I could get some plays in. I know that there's plus money dogs in the making, and you just can't get it in. But you do get to enjoy it.
That would upset me too if you weren't going to be able to do that. Here's what we have going on this evening. First of all, we'll have Brady Cannon at the end of this hour. We'll get his plays for the API. I'll give you mine tonight too. As you know, we're excited about this golf tournament, Bay Hill in Orlando. Second stop on the Florida Swing. Second hour, gentleman George Kurtz comes in. We'll get his hockey stuff. Trade deadline's Friday, so I want to discuss that with him. There's some football things that have happened. So George might get, kind of like last week, I think I kept George one more than I told him I would. And then I ended up keeping 3. That's probably going to happen again tonight. So we'll give George the heads up with that. As far as what's happening live right now, let's go. NBA, halftime in D.C. The Jazz, and you want to talk about playing a skeleton crew. Jazz are playing nobody tonight. And they're down 7 at the half. 62-55, the Wizards are up. The Celtics are up 11 at the half against Portland. 66-55, they're laying 12.5 on the live number. Just under a minute left in the first half in Charlotte. T-Wolves and the Hornets playing a pretty brisk pace here in terms of points. 65-58 with 42.6 to go. There was just a challenge. That's why everybody was sitting around for a few minutes. T-Wolves live minus 10.5. 3 minutes left in the first half in Cleveland, where the Cavs have a 60-43 lead over the Heat. I know Hero, is not playing tonight. Also, this evening, Bucks-Mavs is going to start in about 5 minutes later tonight. Kings-Nuggets, Thunder-Grizz, Pistons-Clippers. So you have 3 games starting at 9 o'clock East or later. We will try to get ourselves involved in a few things with that. As far as the college basketball goes, very busy night. Maryland up 61-57 in Ann Arbor against the Wolverines. Get the Wolverines grabbing 3.5 right now here at the end of the first half. Providence up 4 on DePaul, 58-54. They're at the under 8 timeout in the second half. Oak State up 40-35 at the half on UCF. Clemson up 11 on BC now. They're into the second half there in Chestnut Hill for the Fighting Bluets. Second half, NC State up 9 on Pitt. Not a good scene for them there. Just started the second half in Bama. Bama was up 1 at the half. Florida must have got the first bucket, 43-42. They lead Alabama, 172.5. The live total there, up, and away is where that's been. We have a bunch of little conference tournaments that we'll talk about in a moment. Cincinnati's up 3 on Kansas State. You've got Xavier up 6 on Butler. You have got Texas Tech and Colorado just starting. Oklahoma and Missouri just starting. Oklahoma could really use that win tonight at home against Mizzou. That would really help the Sooners out. Wisconsin, Minnesota in a little bit. Marquette, UConn in a little bit. There's about 20, 25 minutes away for those two. Stanford, Notre Dame at the top of the hour. Irish are going to get smashed tonight at home by Stanford. Tennessee, Ole Miss at the top of the next hour. And you got Washington, USC late night as well. There are some mid-major conference tournaments that are partaking too, including one of my favorites. See, I love, as I said to Joe last night, and you guys know I wax poetic about this all the time, I love the small conference tournament, one-bid leagues, playing to get into the big dance. I mean, it's great. Like, I'm watching this NEC game. This game, I'm trying to flip to another one right now. But this is, for some reason, the only one ESPN Plus is offering tonight, is Long Island up 10 on Chicago State, who's just god-awful. But St. Francis, PA up 10 on Wagner. Fairleigh Dickinson up 10 on Stonehill. And the number 1 seed, Central Connecticut, up 8 on Lemoyne. That is the NEC conference. I love the NEC, the MAC, not the Mid-American MAC, the MAC with the 2 A's. The Colonial, which they now call something out. What do they call the Colonial now? They have a new name. The Coastal, right? They're not allowed to call it the Colonial anymore. The Coastal, which has Hofstra in it, Stony Brook, Townsend, Delaware. I love that conference. I love the America East as well. So I love those small Northeast Conference tournaments. and even others. So the NEC's rocking tonight, always at the home gym of the higher seed. And we'll see how that stuff goes there. Also hockey this evening. Hockey. Caps and Rangers tied at 1 late in the first period. That's the first game of the TV doubleheader tonight. Pierre-Luc Dubois for Washington and Artemi Panarin has scored for the Rangers, who are on the power play right now, looking to take the lead. Blackhawks and Senators tied at 2 in Chicago. Brady Tkachuk and Perron for Ottawa. Teravainen and Donato for the Blackhawks, as they have gone to work there. We've got some good late-night games. All the other 3 hockey games, all 10 o'clock East or later, which is in the Matthias window. Toronto's in Vegas against the Knights. That's actually on TNT. Ducks and Canucks in Vancouver. Blues and Kings in Los Angeles. The Ducks absolutely smashed Edmonton last night. Total smash play. And now they got to play a back-to-back in Vancouver. Well, didn't they beat Vancouver at home last week, Matthias? Weren't we on? I was on the Ducks that night. Wasn't I on the Ducks that night when they beat Vancouver?
Yeah, you were,
Yep.
and they smoked them. I'm on Vancouver tonight, though. I think the Canucks get revenge in Vancouver.
You never believe in your team. You never believe.
No,
in
I
your
do
team.
believe in
You're
them.
never
This
on
is
the
just a
Ducks.
bad spot for them. I just don't like them in this
Never on
spot.
the Ducks. You don't like your team. So there you go. We have everything on the table there. It's going to be a very busy night for us. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Just getting rocking on a Wednesday night. We're back in.
And now, for your listening pleasure, we give you Sports Grid summed up in one single symbolic sound effect. Get it? This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
Carver and Lisi.
Look at this Memphis team. Unlike
What should I do to you?
It's just a bad run. I gotta burn everything, all my clothes. I gotta start fresh. I still blame you with the kibosh, your partner. You know I put out the crypto with Virginia on the face. You look like a Riddler with that shirt on, huh? Riddle me this, Carver. Where's your top hat?
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the Sports Grid Radio Network. The new Sports Grid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the Sports Grid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the Sports Grid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid.
When the weather cools off,
Major League Baseball playoffs heat up. Sit tight. The World Series is coming. Keep it here for every bit of the action with strategies and information to give you the winning edge. This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Back. Carver and Lisi with you, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM 159. That's that's a new one, Matthias. You just pull that one out? I feel like I haven't heard that one before. Or are they all just like blended together now?
No. I did some digging. I found a new sound right there. You like that one?
That one was all right. So you found just that one, or do you have other ones you're working in tonight as well? Or is it just that one?
I think there's two different ones coming up. There's two more.
Two different ones. Okay, that's all right. I'm fine with that. Just don't get rid of it always feels like somebody's watching me.
Watching me. Got it.
Don't get rid of that one, which usually plays like towards the end of the hour. So that one I kind of like. So we don't want to go away. Stray from what works. We can't do that. So just make sure you keep that in the mix for you. Now you told me you're on some hockey tonight. You're on the. Hear you say you're on the Capitals. Is that what I heard?
I am on the Caps. I love taking the Capitals though. I'm a sucker for them, and they make me money. That's so I keep taking them, and I like them on the road tonight in New York. I like the first goal of the game too, so that was good. But I'm gonna keep taking them. I like the Knights tonight. I think I'm not gonna go against them in big games in Vegas. I think that team shows up. They score goals. I went against them against New Jersey. I don't know why, and I'm watching that game thinking I'm not doing that again. So I'm not going to go against Vegas tonight, especially not going back-to-back. And I'm definitely playing against the Ducks tonight in Vancouver. I think Vancouver gets a big win tonight. They're fighting for the playoffs. I still think the Ducks are pretenders. I know they're playing good hockey right now, but I don't think they're going to get there, Mike. And on the road, they're not the same team that when they play at home. They just aren't. I was surprised what they did in Edmonton. But Edmonton's defense has been so bad after the break. You know what I mean? Like, that team's been in a bad spot in a couple games. So it's not like Edmonton just like, oh, wow. They've been playing bad hockey for quite some time now. They're not playing up to par.
No, they have not been. And look, I know that everybody thinks that it's just automatic that Edmonton's going back to the Stanley Cup Finals this year. I mean, they just think it's automatic. I don't see that at all. I just don't. I do not. I think it is extremely difficult when you lose in a Stanley Cup final, especially the way that they did. 7 games, long grind, coming back like they did and then still not getting it done. To come all the way back and get back to that point is so difficult. And you saw Florida do it last year, which is such a rare occurrence for a team to come all the way back after losing. I can't. I am not back in Edmonton. Now, I'm not back in Dallas because they've let me down so much the last few years. I've backed Dallas heavily the last 2 or 3 seasons, and they never get it done. So go ahead, everybody. Run to the window and get your Dallas Stars to win the Western Conference tickets and to win the Cup tickets because it's going to happen because I didn't back them this year. But I'm actually starting to, and maybe it's just because I want to try something different. And I think Colorado could be dangerous. And Colorado and Vegas have been, you never know with them. They're the wild cards in the West. They could easily both go back to the Stanley Cup final. But I think I'm going to take a shot and start loading up on a little Winnipeg now and have some Winnipeg tickets. Hellebuck's been bad in the playoffs. I get that. They're going to get the best matchup in the first round out of anybody else. They're going to need to beat 2 good teams no matter what to get to the final. But maybe that confidence, if they could just win that first round against whoever's going to win that last wild card spot, because 7 teams in the West are basically locked up right now. And there's 4 or 5 teams for that last spot. The Ducks are only 6 points back of that last spot now, Matthias. Ducks are
Mike, I thought they had to, they bugged me because, you have that game against Chicago at home this past weekend. You think, oh, man, can this team do it? And, you got to beat Chicago at home, if you're chasing that seed, if you're trying to make the playoffs. And they get, they just don't show up. They don't show up, and it's not, they just play slow hockey. Chicago on the front foot, goal. There was no stopping them. And I'm like, I know every night some team has nights and not their nights, but the Ducks always lose, these games where you think that they're going to show up. And that's why that team's always been the same team. I think today they're going to lay an egg. I really do. I think, oh, wow, look at this team. They're real. Everybody's on the Ducks possibly because they just beat Edmonton. Let's see what they do tonight against Vancouver. I think tonight the Ducks don't play that great. I see 6-2, 6-3 Canucks. It'll be a party over there in Vancouver tonight.
Wow. All over them, man.
And I like the Kings tonight too. I think the Kings are in a good spot, especially after losing to the Blackhawks and getting smoked by the Hawks. I think tonight in LA, they get all over the Blues, coming off a loss in Dallas.
Laying it down on your team, man. You are just down on them.
They bug me.
I've tried to pump the Ducks up twice now, and you're just not happy.
Well, I think it's at a point where when I take them, they lose, and when I'm not on them, they win, and when I'm against them, they win. But so maybe I should just be a fan. I shouldn't take any of the games. I should just enjoy it, because man, whenever I take them, boy, do they let me down. I swear to God, every single time.
They love to let you down. Love to let you down. I've got the Bucks.
You know who else is letting me down? Michigan's letting me down, Mike. This Michigan basketball team, all this great stuff, middle of the season, great team winning down the stretch. They lay an egg on senior night against Illinois this past week, and now they're doing it again against Maryland. And now they get to play Michigan State to finish their season at State, who smoked them at Michigan. Just crumbling down the stretch against the best teams, this Michigan basketball team.
Look, I don't think you can get too crazy about when you're a team that's definitely in the tournament the last week of the regular season. They've had some decent wins. I know you don't, they got who whacked them the other day? Oh, Illinois whacked them on Sunday. I don't know. I don't know how much these teams that know that they're kind of going to be in that 5 to 10 seed range. I don't know how much they're caring. They're just getting ready for the tourney. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM. We're back in.
It's dead simple. Listen to SportsGrid is smart. Don't listen to SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. It should be obvious. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1966, player reps elect Marvin Miller as executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. In 1968, Miller created a collective bargaining agreement, but its biggest impact was the birth of free agency, opening the door for million-dollar contracts like Catfish Hunter in 1974.
To be a Yankee is a thrill. I always wanted to be here in New York and play.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Carver and Lisi.
You're celebrating St. Patty's Day 13 days early. And just remember this, Carver, all right? St. Patrick was Italian. Just throwing it out there. I'm just letting you know. Make sure you celebrate for Italy, too, all right?
You're letting me know?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Riddler.
We on that night, or is that for you at Carver and sometimes Lisi that night?
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and Sirius XM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Pharrell, Coast to Coast, keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi. Then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM, channel 159, here with you on a Wednesday night on the grid. Carver, this is Carver, Sands, Lisi, Joe out on assignment. We'll get him back in the mix tomorrow night. I didn't even hear him all day. Usually I get some plays from him. Usually get something. But no, very quiet on the home front. Getting some rest today. We'll see how it goes down the line. 69-61, T-Wolves lead the Hornets now, as they're very early in the third quarter. I've got a few things here. Some Dante DiVincenzo threes. I actually played LaMelo Ball for the bounds, too, which is like kind of a Joe play. But I was just tracking his bounds for the last couple games, and he's been getting there here and there. So I tried the bounds with him, put it with the golf, as we also like to do. So we have a few things there. I tried this Strus with Cleveland as well, but he had 1-3 in the first half. I played him up to 4. So we could use Strus getting a little hot for the Cavs as we continue to move forward. As I was saying to Matthias before the break, like, you look at some of these teams, and it's the same thing kind of what I said to Joe last night about the Texas-Mississippi State game. Mississippi State, their lot in life isn't really going to improve much unless they go and win like the SEC tournament next week, which they're not going to do. Texas needs every inch they can get right now to make sure that they're in the tournament. Every inch they could get. And that game for Texas last night was, they needed to play that game at a very, like it was life or death. Now, Mississippi State's a good team. That's why they were able to get the game to overtime. They weren't able to finish the job. But there was just a little bit more oomph and urgency out of them. A similar game tonight. That's why I liked Oklahoma tonight as a home dog. They're up 27-20 on Missouri. Oklahoma's playing for everything right now. Missouri, I think that the determination on if they're going to get a higher seed is probably going to come next week when they play some more high-octane competition. Now, they do play Kentucky on Saturday. That would mean a little bit more for them. But Missouri beating Oklahoma, doesn't do anything for them. Doesn't do anything for them. So that's why I kind of look for spots like that here in the last week. I look for some of those instances, and I try to go with it. And Maryland did win, by the way, 71-65. That's a final, Matthias. So Michigan loses. Now, you're upset with how Michigan's coming down the stretch. So they got boat raced at home by Illinois on Sunday, and then they lose at home to Maryland here. They play Michigan State on Sunday afternoon in East Lansing. They lost to them at home already, too, didn't they? Didn't they lose at home to Michigan State?
Yeah, they did. They did.
Yeah.
I think their weaknesses are just starting to get exposed. You know what? This team has a hard time rebounding, and I'm surprised because their strength at the end of the day are their bigs. Donaldson and Wolf, 2 7-footers that can shoot, score around the paint. They've been killing it all season long. That's why they're in the position that they're in right now, and they're going to the tournament. But, man, Illinois on the glass this weekend, completely out-rebounding them. It was a joke. It really was, the amount of offensive rebounds that team was getting on Michigan all day long, even on the road. And even today against Maryland, just getting out-rebounded and always losing the biggest possessions of the game, it seems like. Michigan has been playing from behind. And they're weak at guard. I've been saying this for quite some time. Burnett, good guard. But outside of that, Donaldson and Kaysen, I think Donaldson makes mistakes left and right, also doesn't shoot, takes bad shots left and right. Trouble at the guard position for this team. And you know that you need great guards in order to succeed in the NCAA tournament. Can't just be your bigs. You got to have point guards making plays.
Got to have big guards. Got to have guards that can get it done. You like to have a couple guys that can shoot. That's for sure. It's a guard game now, the tournament. Tournament's a guard game. There's no doubt about that. LaMelo just hacking up threes here for the Hornets. Just hacking them up. That was one of the worst shots I've ever seen. And it was like 19 seconds left on the shot clock. There was just no. And then Ant follows him up. Ant's like, you want to throw a bad one? I'll throw a bad one too. Ugly basketball. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM. We're back after this.
Congratulations.
Another day above ground. Might as well make the most of it. Get the winning edge. Sports gaming strategies and information. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sensed digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
Right before your very eyes, the boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Back. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Sirius XM 159. See the total on this OKC Memphis game tonight? Jeez. Now the other night, I think it was Monday. Was it Monday when Memphis played Atlanta? And me and Joe had the total. It was the biggest total this year. It was 251.5, right? That was Monday night, I'm pretty sure.
I think it was where you said it was like 65-65 or 65-60 at halftime or something like that.
We had it in a parlay and everything hit except what was the dopey thing Joe put in? Valanciunas bounds or somebody else, it got lost in the wayside by that. So tonight they're gonna get over that biggest total of the year. I got listed right at this second 253.5 for the Thunder and the Grizz. Thunder -7. I think that's the late night TV game. So in honor of Joe, we put in a play for this. Dort for 3 threes, because that's a Joe guy. SGA for 30. And then we tagged with that, Matthias. Joker for 12 assists in a Nugget King game. Harden for 8 assists in the Clipper Piston game. So there you go. We made a Joe type NBA parlay since Joe's not here. Decided to throw all those.
I like that. I like that parlay. I don't know about the Dort threes though.
Dort was cold last night. He did nothing. They're playing back-to-back nights. I'm hoping Dort gets a little more gas tonight. Holmgren's not playing, so I'm hoping that Dort isn't shy tonight. We know SGA is going to be a pig, and I just yelled at Joe for last night, right? Joe was trying to get guys outside of SGA, and I yelled at him saying, well, how could you do that? Oh, no, that was was that 2 nights ago, Matthias, with Holmgren? When did Holmgren screw us? Was that the night of the...
couple nights
ago. That might have been... That was the night with the Atlanta-Memphis total. That was Monday night. So they didn't play last night, OKC. That was on Monday night that they did that. That game where SGA had 51. And we needed Holmgren to get 15 points. And he had 11 because SGA was being a total pig. We didn't get anything out of that one.
I'm afraid to play Holmgren props right now. Him coming off the injury. He's not the same guy yet. That's all. I'm going to just, Shea all day. Outside of Shea, I don't want to take it. You know what? You know who actually does well for me on the Thunder is Hartenstein with bounds. I like to play him with bounds, and I like to play him with points sometimes, depending on the matchup.
I put him in that. I put him in that DK on at least tonight. I don't know if it's every Wednesday, but tonight has a boost for a double parlay, and I have Hartenstein in that tonight. So Hartenstein with Valanciunas and somebody else, somebody in the maybe Harden. Might have been Harden was the third one I threw in there.
Detroit might be a live dog tonight. I'm wondering what about this Clipper team right now. Great start, but you know what?
I love the
shocker
Clippers
last
tonight.
night.
I love the Clippers.
You love the Clippers tonight?
Love the Clippers tonight. I had a bad loss last night. Blew a huge lead to Phoenix. Detroit's on the West. I'm not ready for them to be laying 4.5 points on the road. I know Kawhi's not playing. I get that. But I'm not ready to lay with Detroit on the road. If Harden's playing and Zubac's playing, I'll take the 4.5. I'm in. Clips.
I just don't know how this team responds after blowing that 20-point lead. 23-point lead in the fourth, a big game that you want to win because that team is reeling right now. This team is reeling. The Clippers have been losing games. They haven't been looking the same, and the big injury was Norm Powell. This team without Norm Powell has lost a lot of explosive tendencies that they have towards the rim, and their offense has not been the same whatsoever. It's been super inconsistent. Norm Powell has really been a key factor this season for their success, and without him playing at the level that he's been playing at, the Clippers are middle of the pack. They're missing that energy that they were playing with earlier in the season, and you see it's really evident. They're hitting the wall. You know what? I think they messed with that chemistry a little bit, Carver, when they broke the team apart. Bringing in Ben Simmons and doing the whole trade after the trading block.
Yeah, I don't know why they needed to do that. Why did they do that?
Because you think about a championship, you say, hey, can we win with it? Can we win a championship with these guys? And most likely the answer is no. You know what I mean? They're not. That team's not going to win a championship. So it's like, how could you win? Why don't we bring a guy like Ben Simmons? A former #1 pick, a guy who's just sitting there. Maybe he sucks. He's not a terrible basketball player by any means, but he just hasn't been with the team long enough to really have an impact. You know what I mean?
Doesn't play.
I'm not going to complain about him with the Clippers so far because he's actually done a decent job. But at the same time, it's just a weird team now. It's not the same team that we saw earlier. And I'm not going to say Kevin Porter Jr. was a massive contributor, but it's just a different team than what it was. Obviously,
Did he play? Did he play last night, Simmons? Because he's out tonight. He's not playing tonight. Did he play last night?
I don't even know if he played last night. I was watching the game for quite some time. I didn't see him play that much. I stopped watching the game, Carver. I stopped watching the game. I literally didn't watch the game until I saw that they lost. I was shocked.
I guess he's already hurt. Is that his situation? He says he's out till knee injury.
He doesn't play back-to-backs, though. He doesn't play back-to-backs.
He didn't play last night either. He doesn't play, period. Forget back-to-backs. He doesn't play. That's his problem. Guy, the same thing in Brooklyn, the same thing in Philly. He doesn't play. End of story. That's it. It's just a waste. Go back, just enough. Shut it down.
Carver, since the break, the Clippers lost to the Bucks, lost to the Pacers, lost to the Pistons. They beat the Bulls. Wow. They lose to the Lakers. They lose to the Lakers again, and then they blow a 20-point lead to Phoenix, and they lose to Phoenix. You know what I mean? This team is reeling. They're hitting a wall right now.
And everybody's passing them now. The Warriors went by them. Everybody now
exactly. They're feeling the pressure of the playoffs.
Well,
They might drop down. They keep going down. The Golden State Warriors, new energy.
I'll take the 4.5 with them tonight. I'll take the 4.5. I'll run with it. Let's go, baby. Let's make it happen.
Let's go. I got to be a fan and watch the game. I can't trust that team. I can't trust them. Like the Ducks. Can't trust them.
You're so down on the Ducks. I tried twice already to pump them up tonight.
It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Nah. Tried pumping them up in Vancouver tonight. Huge win last night. Nah, they're going to lose tonight. Pumping them up. They're only 6 points out of the last playoff spot. Nah, they don't got a shot at that. They don't got a shot.
Well, they're chasing Vancouver.
They're
chasing Vancouver, baby.
Well, that's the team they're chasing. They're chasing that team, but they can. The one thing they've got right now, though, Matthias, is they're a young team and they're playing fast and loose. See, that's just one thing. That's the difference between them and some of those other teams right there that are going for that last spot. They're a young team and they're playing fast and loose. And sometimes that makes all the difference in the world. And you're a team that nobody thought had any shot of being anywhere near a playoff race. And they're only 6 points back. So I think that's a nice year. And I was stunned. That Cronin's done a good job. I couldn't believe they hired him. And he's done a nice job for them. So at least, it could only go up, Matthias. God, they've
done a good job drafting guys. I like what they've done in the draft. When you're picking the top 5 every year for 6 or 7 years straight, you're eventually going to get some good players. They finally started to get a couple of good players come through. It's a damn good stable. It's exciting.
It is. The Heat are involved here with the Cavaliers in the third quarter. They've come all the way back to that. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We'll come back. Brady Cannon, API, Bay Hill. Let's go, baby. Back there.
The way we see it, you have a choice. Depend on luck and be occasionally humiliated. Or use strategy and win. We suggest strategy. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Money line. Cooler heads prevailed. Stafford stays in LA.
Yeah, not as much of a fan as it for you. I think the Rams are wildly overrated. Since winning the Super Bowl, they've won 5 games, 10 games, and 10 games. Anyone who acts like they're some perennial Super Bowl contender is basically Joe Lisi, or people who lie to themselves because they are not that.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific. On the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at Capalbo on X and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. No way football is played in the fall and winter because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah! And we're back. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Great to have you with us on a Wednesday night here. Oh, Grid. Carver sans Lisi. Of course, it's Wednesday, so Joe's out on assignment. He will be back tomorrow. So that means we have a little fun on Wednesday nights, and it's good to have Brady Cannon back with us as we get ready for the Arnold Palmer Invitational, a Golf Wednesday radio style with Brady at Bay Hill, Orlando, Florida Swing. I'll start with this, Brady. We talked last week, and it was like, we were excited. Florida Swing, courses get tougher, everybody got... And then, 12 hours later, we've got Jake Afternoon Nap throwing a 59 up at PGA National. And we're like, oh, it's going to be one of these weeks, I guess. Here we are, the guys like the Irish Bear who, can grind it, play tough courses, PGA National, and then, you've got guys shooting 12 under right out of the gate. It's like, what are we doing here? That was nuts last week, how those guys were scoring on Thursday and Friday, especially at PGA National.
Yeah, absolutely. It was, when does I remember actually it was 2018. I had to look it up because I was on him, and I remember being on Brandt Snedeker when he opened with a 59 at the Wyndham. But it's rare to see a 59, let alone in the opening round to kick off a golf tournament. Sure enough, Jake Knapp, I think, shot 1 under the next day. But still, the fact that the winning score was even less than 20 was a little bit surprising. The wind never really kicked up too bad, a little bit on Sunday. But you look at what this tournament's become. The average winning score was less than 9.5 under par. And now the last 3 years, 14 under by Chris Kirk, 17 under by Eckroat, and now 19 under by Joe Highsmith. And of course, Mike, as you know, I had JJ Spawn second place. So a bridesmaid again. But I cashed a few top 20s with the Irish Bear, had a top 20 on Lowry, had a top 20 on Spawn, and had a top 20 with Nikolai Højgaard. So not a complete loss last week in Palm Beach Gardens.
I ended up playing Spieth last minute for a top 10, and he snuck in there for me.
Oh, yeah.
The two that really bothered me, Brady, was I had 2 nice bombs for top 20s in Zach Johnson and Joel Damon, and they were both in the top 20 Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and then they both completely let go of the rope on Sunday and finished outside the top 20. So they teased me, those 2 guys, throughout the entire week, and then they did not get it done for me, which was very upsetting, Brady. As you know, you don't like when that happens.
Damon's playing well. Yeah, I had him in Mexico, and he cashed a top 20 for me there. Nearly won the darn thing. And then he, like you say, 3 out of the 4 days he continued there at the Cognizant last week. But, close but no cigar for both of us. Not a complete loss. Sounds like you had a couple of top 10s
we
cash.
We had a couple.
But we can do better.
We can do better, Brady, and that's why what the best thing about the betting the PGA is? You get right back in it on Monday. You got 3 days to get yourself straight, figure out your card, and away you go again. And we got a super field, signature event, Bay Hill, Arnie's tournament. First time you got Scotty, Rory, and Xander all playing in the same tournament this year. So it's going to be good. What are you looking for here? First out, I talked to Smiley and Keith Stewart and all these guys who were down there earlier on Coast to Coast. And they said to me already, do not expect last week. They're like, the rough is already like up to the guy's knees on the back nine. They say, don't expect any of what you saw at PGA National. These guys at Bay Hill, they have made this place tough this week.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. From what I understand, the rough is even higher than it normally is, and it's normally pretty penal. This is going to be probably similar to what we saw a few weeks ago at Torrey Pines. Big boy golf course, big boy rough, major championship type field here and golf course. Big, firm, fast greens, and they're some of the hardest greens to hit in regulation on tour. You probably know you've got more approach shots of 200 yards or better at this golf course than any other course on the tour rotation. So, when you're approaching from 200 yards or better all week long, and sometimes you're in the rough, it's hard to hit greens in regulation. So I'm looking for guys that are really good off the tee, and I favor distance over accuracy. I'm looking at scrambling, ball striking. It's really the theme of the Florida swing, ball striking, and it doesn't hurt to be long either, especially here at Bay Hill. Not as much maybe last week at PGA National or next week at the Players, but I think Bay Hill definitely favors the bigger hitters, and that's who I went with for the most part. I went with guys that can all get it out there.
Since we're getting close to break, give me one guy first, Brady, and then we'll go through the rest of the card. Maybe if there's one you lean toward the most out of all your plays, give me your favorite, and then after the break, you'll give me the rest of the card.
Yeah, I'll give you my favorite in terms of the odds, the shortest shot. You and I were talking before I came on. I had a tough time finding guys that really made sense this
Real
week.
hard.
A lot of guys popped in the stats like Michael Kim and JJ Spawn and
Another guy
wait a
playing
minute.
great.
This is
Kim's
they're playing
great.
great, but this is the major leagues now. This is signature event status field. Are they couldn't, they looked pretty good at the Honda last week. Are they going to be able to do it here? So I went down the board. I skipped over Scotty and Rory. I went to Justin Thomas. And for me, how guys perform at TPC Scottsdale is connected quite a bit to Bay Hill. We've seen Scotty win twice at both courses. Well, not many people have a better resume at TPC Scottsdale than Justin Thomas. And he's been progressively better here every year at Bay Hill, 49th, 21st, and then 12th last year. He's got 3 top 10s already this season, comes in off of 2 straight top 10s in a row, the latter being a 6th place finish in Phoenix. He's 3rd in this field for strokes gained approach. He's 7th in this field on the long par 4s, 450 to 500 yards over the last 36 rounds. So I like JT here. Of all the guys, like I say, the stars at the top of the board here, he was the one that made the most sense to me.
Me too, Brady. That's the top guy out of any of the guys towards the top. He was the first name that I clicked with. Same reasoning. He's a guy that you could see if we're grinding it on Sunday. He's going to be a guy who's going to be in the mix. We're going to get the rest of Brady's plays when we come back. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio Series XM 159. Maybe a Puerto Rico play for Brady too. 2 tournaments this week on the PGA Tour.
It's a harsh world out there. Get the SportsGrid mobile app and take all that sweet, sweet winning edge with you.
Download today.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
Pharrell, Coast to Coast.
The St. John's Red Storm at 9. Don't give me that funny face, Mike.
I'm trying to figure out where you're going with this.
Well, where I'm going is that I think that Duke, Houston, Tennessee, and for me, St. John's are the 4 best defensive teams in America. I want to know how in God's name they could possibly be 9 on yours.
It's Pharrell Coast to Coast with Scott Pharrell. Weekdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. On the home of the winning edge, the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Get sports gaming strategies and information 24 hours a day,
7 days a week.
Everything you need to get the winning edge. Right here. All the time.
No wonder the wife says you never listen to her.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Carver Sands, Lisi, Jolie back tomorrow. Brady Cannon is with us, getting his plays for the Arnold Palmer this weekend. He's in on Justin Thomas. So am I at 25-1. Brady, who else you got?
Similar resume here for Maverick McNeely, and I got him at 56-1. I've seen him a little higher. I've seen him around 60, 61. So, shop around out there. You might be able to find
65 today. I saw a 65 today on Maverick. So I might run back and see if they have it.
And I don't think people are necessarily fading Maverick. I think it's a better number. I think 60-1 is probably the real number on what he should be.
You think people get scared of him not being on the West Coast because he's such a West Coast guy and he does so well on the West Coast swing?
It's a great point, but I can't deny. I think we're seeing the Maverick McNeely that we expected to see years ago before he got riddled by injury. This guy was always expected to produce big three. Oh, he
looks different.
To nearly beat a signature status field at Torrey Pines says a lot. And, he got his first win last November. He's got 3 top 10s this year, 2 in a row like Thomas, a 9th at Phoenix, my correlated course, a runner-up at Torrey, which is obviously a big boy, golf course, just like we have here. And I think, to come that close and then be clipped by Oberg at the end and to kind of chew on that for a couple weeks, I think he comes in here ready to go once again. 13th in this field for strokes gained approach, 19th greens in regulation gained, 17th in hole proximity from 200 yards or better, 6th on the long par fours. He also ranks 7th in this field for strokes gained putting. We know he can putt on Bermuda grass. So McNeely, and then, like I said, I went with big hitters. I went with basically the biggest hitter in this entire field, and that's Min-Woo Lee at 75-1. The Australians know how to play in wind, and they've done very well at this golf course before. Jason Day and Mark Leishman, former champions. Lee comes off of a 12th place finish at Phoenix. One of the longest hitters in the field, sixth in strokes gained off the tee, 24th in hole proximity from 200 yards or better. And his form has been good. He's already got 3 top 20 finishes this season. So I think that length is really going to help these guys with that wind and that rough that you talk about, Mike. And then finally, this guy's been off the boil for a little bit, but he's done extremely well at all of my correlated courses this week. And I think he just might show up again. And the number's really juicy. I got him at 95, nearly 100-1 on Matt Fitzpatrick, who's finished 14th and 9th here at Bay Hill. He's been 10th and 15th in Phoenix. He's been 5th at Southern Hills, 6th and runner-up at Olympia Fields, and he's 13th in this field for strokes gained putting on Bermuda grass. I mean, the guy's got the game. It's not like Victor Hovland out of form, but I think this guy could show up at any minute, and getting him at 100-1, 95, I thought was worth a shot.
There's 3 guys, Brady, and I was just I'll bring this up since he's one of them. There's 3 guys I've been, watching the numbers, even before this week and especially this week, that they haven't been playing well. The numbers get low, worse and worse every week. Fitzpatrick, obviously Max Homa, you can get at 180-1 this week. I mean, he's been playing poorly, but he's got really great history at this play. Like, he's played well at Bay Hill in the past. And the other one is Tagala. And I got Tagala at 110. Like, I mean, 110 for Tagala, who's usually in the 40s or 50s in a field like this.
And Hovland too,
guys, Brady, wild.
I took a shot with Hovland at Pebble Beach because he's had so much success in his career, even as an amateur. He won at Pebble, and I thought, here's a track where he just might find it again, and he looked pretty good. But admittedly, he said he's like, I'm still not there, and we haven't seen it. Now, a lot of guys are buying in that he's going to find it this week. I don't know. This is harder than Pebble Beach. I didn't think Vic was ready to find it this week at Bay Hill.
No, I'm crazy. I'm gonna nibble on Homa for a top 20 this week, Brady. Just because I want to. The numbers.
He's gonna get back there eventually, right?
I would think so, and you'd think maybe it would be on a course like this that he's had a little bit of success, and he's a guy who can grind too. He's played well in some grinding tournaments in the past. I got 30 seconds, Brady. You said you didn't have a Puerto Rico, so I know you're gonna be on with Cam and Gabe later. Cam will sell you on Rico Hoey there. You're with me tomorrow for Live. Give everybody your Live pick, and then we'll break it down more tomorrow on Coast to Coast.
Yeah, Hong Kong, Sam Horsfield at 80-1, Sergio at 20-1, and Anirban Lahiri at 40-1. Let's go, man. Hong
Brady
Kong.
on Sergio tomorrow. Let's go on Coast to Coast. Brady Cannon. We're back on Carver Lisi right after this.
Even if the last thing you played was the radio, you can still be a sports gaming legend. Just keep that radio tuned to us. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1966, player reps elected Marvin Miller as executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. In 1968, Miller created a collective bargaining agreement, but its biggest impact was the birth of free agency, opening the door for million-dollar contracts like Catfish Hunter in 1974.
To be a Yankee is a thrill. I always wanted to be here in New York and play.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
You're listening to where real winners go for actionable insights and expert perspectives on daily sporting events.
7 days a week.
It's not a secret or anything.
I mean, we have a promotion budget for Pete's sake.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please welcome.
It's the opening kickoff with Carver and Lisi.
Here we go, Carver and Lisi with you. SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. Good to have everybody with us on the grid. Very busy final hour here. We've got lots of NBA, lots of college rack. We've got NHL. I'll give you my golf picks. Great job by Brady Cannon. We're reading the same mail on a few of those guys. I love JT this week as well. And he's probably talked me into... I think I'm going to, because Cam liked something with Fitzpatrick this afternoon also. I think I'll nibble at least with maybe a top 10 for Fitzpatrick. I'll dip my toe in the water with him there. All right, let's get you up to speed. Mike Carver with you, no Joe, out on assignment. It's a Carver and sometimes Lisi night here on CNL. Celtics lead the Blazers 122-113. They're getting down to about 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. Here's what's going on in this game, though. How about this? Now, there's no Tatum tonight for the Celtics. Brown is playing. No Tatum, no Porzingis. A couple guys are out. This Peyton Pritchard has 41 points. He's hit 10 threes. God, that must have been... I mean, they only probably had numbers for him up to like 7 or 8. But he's got 10 threes, 9 boards, 41 points. And Imagine that. And then I actually should have did White first and told you even better. White's got 39 and 9 threes. So Peyton Pritchard and Derek White combining for 80 points tonight. They have 80 of the Celtics 122, and they are up 9 with 3:09 to go in the fourth. Elsewhere, the Timberwolves are up 112 to 93 with about just under 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter there. Heat and the Cavs are playing a good one, tied at 89 in the fourth quarter. I don't know what the hell these jerseys are the Cavs are wearing there. Why are they wearing the light blue? I have no idea. But they're tied right now with the Heat. The Wizards are up 106-99. The Jazz completely threw tonight's game in the tank. They played a complete skeleton crew. None of their guys played. Bucks are up 72-53 at the half on the Mavs as well. Meanwhile, later on, actually starting now, Kings Nuggets tipping, Thunder Grizzlies as well. And that's a huge total, 253.5. That one's hanging in at. Pistons and Clippers, late night, 10:30 East, out at the Intuit Dome. I like the Clips tonight, getting the 4.5 at home. College basketball. Florida now up 91-82 at Alabama. Aren't you all? Did you say you liked Florida, Matthias? Did you say you liked Florida? You liked Bama? Who did you like in that game tonight?
I was on Bama. I'm on Bama,
Okay, I'm sorry.
Xavier, and Wisconsin.
All right. Well, Wisconsin's up 17-14. They're about under eight timeout in the first half. Oklahoma at the half is up 13 on Missouri. They could use that win. Texas Tech is up 12 at the half on Colorado. They're laying a very big number. I think it was 17.5, 16 or 17.5. Marquette and UConn are just underway. Very early there in stores. Cal early with Louisville. Clemson did beat Boston College by 9. Maryland beat Michigan by a couple. Other unranked games tonight that we have. Stanford and Notre Dame are just starting in that one. Other finals. DePaul, actually, I thought it was like the first time in like 7 or 8 years they won at Providence. If you're losing to DePaul at home, you got problems. DePaul and Providence has had a real rough year. In that NEC conference, all the chalk won. I don't think they all covered, though. I don't think St. Francis covered. They were all pretty big numbers. It was a 3-point game for St. Francis over Wagner, but Long Island, Fairleigh Dickinson, Central Connecticut, all winners. Kansas State got a win, a real rock fight game in Cincinnati, 54-49. St. Bonnie's beat UMass. St. Joe's beat Rhode Island. Xavier beat Butler. Tennessee Ole Miss starting now as well. Davidson and Loyola. I like Loyola in that game. And then late night, Washington and USC. Ohio Valley first round, Morehead State and Lindenwood tonight as well. UT Martin beat Tennessee Tech in the first game of that conference tournament. As far as the hockey goes, Rangers lead the Caps 2-1 now in the second period. They got a goal from Carrick in the second to take that 2-1 lead. Sens lead the Blackhawks 3-2 as they get a Norris goal here in the second, and they're up now 1. Still have 3 late-night games. We'll talk to George about those. Leafs, Knights, Ducks, Canucks, Blues, Kings. So we have all of that cooking as well. Just going off of what me and Brady were doing there with the golf for the API. Here's who I'm rolling with. If you didn't see Coast to Coast today, I'm with Justin Thomas, as I told him. So me and him are both together on that. I got him at 25-1. I'm playing Cantlay at 30 because I just can't understand why they keep putting Cantlay at 30. I know he hasn't won in a long time, but I've got these few guys. It's like he's a little bit not obviously on the long end like I had with Fitzpatrick, DeGala, and Homa. But Cantlay's going to win again at some point, and he's one of the 10 best golfers in this field, and hitting him at 30-1. Interesting. Shane Lowry at 50-1. Really just a Florida swing, tough course play. Although when you actually look, other than last year, Lowry's been awful at this place. But he's been better the last couple of years. Wyndham Clark at 60-1. Tough course. And Tagala at 100, I was not turning down. Despite how he's played so far this year. Rory top 5 at plus 140. Matsuyama top 10 at plus 190. Denny McCarthy, top 10 at plus 410. Bermuda Ben Griffin, top 20 at plus 150. Harry English, top 20 at plus 240. And as I told Brady, nibbling on Max Homa, top 20 at plus 270 this week. Harry English has some great history at Bay Hill. Really good numbers in the past. First round leaders. Wanted to go with some morning guys. I'm going to add some late guys, so look for that probably on Twitter, because I'm going to go after the show tonight, go back in the lab for one last look, because Keith was telling me this afternoon he thinks the wind's going to be worse in the morning. I wanted to play the morning guys because it was going to be a little wet there today. Figure making getting them out soft, and that the guys in the afternoon would have a little bit of a tougher time. He thinks the wind's going to be more optimal in the afternoon. So I'm still going to play these morning guys with Taylor Pendrith 40-1, Bermuda Ben Griffin at 50-1, Cameron Forever Young at 55, Aaron Rye at 55, Harry English is late in the day. He's 80-1, Novak 80-1, and Matthew Pavan at 100-1 for first round leader for all of those. As far as Puerto Rico, Rico Hoey at 35-1, Mateo Manacero at 60-1, Carson Young at 60-1. I told Brady Davis Riley at $150, and Austin Cook 600-1. Super Jabroni tournament big bomb this week for Austin Cook at 600-1. We're going to try and get that across the line, and I will also play him T10 just in case he breaks hearts, because he's going to get a monster number for T10 also. So there you go, the Arnold Palmer. There is Live this week as well. Brady will be with me tomorrow on Coast to Coast to do all of that. So we'll come back. Hour 2, we're going to have gentleman George Kurtz joining us as well. We have some hockey for him. Trade deadline is on Friday. Some baseball stuff, some football stuff. There's actually a few things to go over with George as we move along, and we'll keep watching all these games. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. We're back right after this.
Ever heard the saying, if you want a friend, get a dog? Think of us as a trusted companion that fetches odds, gaming info, and more. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime, on the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Football full circle.
Jamar Chase is the real deal, and your star quarterback is begging you to sign these guys. What are they doing? It's just ridiculous. They're a joke.
It's mismanagement. 9 guys under the tag last year. 8 of the 9 received a long-term deal. The only person who did not is under the franchise tag once again. That is T. Higgins.
It's Football Full Circle with Ben Stevens and Joe Lisi. Weekdays noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
You're listening to Sports Grid, raising the bar on your sports gaming by giving you rock-solid strategies, news, and information.
We are your unfair advantage.
Isn't it time you made more trips to the bank between paydays? This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Yeah. We're back. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Good to have you aboard here on a Wednesday night. Of course, Carver sans Lisi, Joe out on assignment, as we like to call Wednesdays now, Carver and sometimes Lisi on Wednesdays here on See It Now. Always good to have Gentleman George Kurtz with us. Blue Line Kurtz, as we get ready for, we got a lot of hockey to discuss. I actually have quite a few things with George that we have to go over here as we get together, as per usual, now on a Wednesday night. Hi, George. How are you?
Where am I? You know, Mike, you and I both live on Long Island, right? You're a little further west than I am. I'm way out there. I had to go to JFK today, Mike. All right, I just got back an hour ago. Yeah, that's about right. In the rain?
Oh.
And we're talking Noah's Ark type rain, right? Because I think Noah's out in my backyard building an ark there. It's been a nightmare. So that's how I'm doing, Mike. All right, just got back here maybe an hour ago. Oh, and yeah, by the way, my wife and my daughters, they went to California. So yeah, I'm doing just fine, Mike, just fine.
Wow. Well, I mean, I guess the only thing I could say is, George, you know, you and the dogs got the house to yourself. I mean, I guess that's the only thing I can only thing I can offer you.
Not a bad thing.
I mean, if you,
it's not a bad thing.
You got you and the dogs. That's it. Just post it up at your place. I'm sure it's gonna be. I mean, if they're going to Cali, they're gonna be there for a little bit, right? At least a couple days. You got
They'll
them
be
out
there.
there.
Gone a week. They'll be there. They're gone a week.
Gone a week. So you got it all cooking for you now, George. You're good to go. Once you get out of having to do that tonight, you'll be okay. Let's start with the hockey. And I'm going to save me and you potentially torching Lou Lamoriello for after the break. We'll get to tonight's games first and talk about that. Rangers and Caps are playing tonight. Matthias is on the Caps. Not looking good right now. 2-1 end of the second. Senators up 3-2 on the Blackhawks. But we do have 3 games tonight, George. Leafs are in Vegas against the Knights, second game of the TV doubleheader. The Ducks, who smashed Edmonton last night. Smashed them. They smashed Vancouver last week at their place at the Duck Pond. They've been playing good hockey. They're only 6 points back now of that last spot in the West. Although Matthias, who's the big Duck fan around here, told me, forget it. It doesn't matter. They're not good enough. They're playing in Vancouver. And the Blues and the Kings, late night in Los Angeles, George. Tonight's hockey card. What do you like?
Yeah, as far as the early games, I'm on the under for Washington. The Rangers are looking good there. The over with the Senators and Blackhawks. So we like that. Still for a good start tonight. As far as the later slate, I'm going with the Leafs tonight. We're gonna go take a dog here. I think that it's just too much. Vegas might be the better overall team, but they haven't been all that impressive of late. I do worry about Joseph Woll. I think I would have preferred Stolarz to be in net tonight, but it is what it is with Woll here. So give me the Leafs plus 134. We'll take that. And it's almost the same situation. Kings Blues. You know, I kind of like the Blues tonight. I can't. They call me Captain Chalk here, and I said I'm going against that today. I guess I'll be demoted this week. So I'm going to go with the Blues in this game as well. I do kind of like the Ducks tonight. No Quinn Hughes for the Canucks, right? He's out. No, been a bad day for the Hughes. 2 of the 3 Hughes brothers there.
Oh,
so they've got some problems, but I think he is the stars that Drake. No Quinn Hughes. I'm going to go 3 dogs tonight. Just really pretty much need. Can I get 2 to hit? Don't need all 3, just 2 to hit, and I'll win money.
Yeah, that's you talk about significant injuries that are going to impact what goes on here down the stretch. Of course, a lot of people were thinking very highly of the Devils. Jack Hughes having shoulder surgery today and being done for the rest of the season. I mean, it sucks to say it, George, but I mean, sometimes you just got to tell it like it is. They're finished. They're not going anywhere without Jack Hughes in the playoffs. They're just not.
Oh, I agree. And it's always the second straight season, right? Last year, you thought you could have made some noise, but you had a truckload of injuries there. Hamilton being the big one. He was hurt last year as well, but it was the goaltender. You didn't have the goalie last year, right? And that cost you. And now this year, Hughes is a superstar, right? I mean, or at least a star player here. I agree with you. And I know they say they're still going to make moves. I mean, they'll try and tell you that Hischier, Brett, Timo Meyer will play better. Okay. And by the way, Hamilton's hurt also. You know, we're not even talking about Hamilton's out week to week as well with the whatever happened to him in that game. Right. So, I mean, you sort of wonder here. They're in third place. I mean, 72 points. Could they fall out of it completely? I mean, the Ottawa Senators are only 8 points behind, 4 games. They have 2 games in hand, one that's going to happen tonight. I wonder if the Devils could fall out of this thing completely.
Somebody actually texted me this a couple hours ago after this injury happened, and they actually said to me, George, go look at the Devils' number to miss the playoffs and where it is right now. And let me bring that back up here. And they don't have the miss up right now. And some books might have it, some not. But he told me he saw plus 350 for them to miss the playoffs. And you make a point, number. Like, you look at it, because the Rangers have gotten themselves back to that one of those 2 wild cards, and they're the second wild card right now. But they have 66. Like you said, it's 6 points. Now, I think the Rangers are the only ones that could, jump them for that division slot. But if they get fallen down into the wild card, that's when suddenly they're at risk against teams like Columbus, Detroit, Ottawa, etc. It's not impossible. And plus 350, I don't know if that's been, you look at, they got, they're playing a lot of these teams. They got a pretty tough schedule. They still got a couple decent road trips. They play the Winnipeg Jets twice. They play Minnesota twice. They play the Canucks. They play, they've got some games with Columbus. That might not be that easy for the Devils to get in anymore with what they're going to be dealing with. So, and here's one other thing about Hughes, George. You said it 2 years in a row. He's only 23 years old. He's not a big guy. And you know how this game works. You get racked a couple times. You gotta get a little bigger. I get a little bigger. Gotta fill out a little bit. I know he doesn't want to lose that speed, but he takes a lot of big hits and he gets hurt very easily. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, back with more George right after.
SportsGrid is your source for sports gaming strategies and information 24/7.
We're always here,
waiting on you to decide to win. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. Carver and Lisi.
You're celebrating St. Patty's Day 13 days early. And just remember this, Carver, all right? St. Patrick was Italian. Just throwing it out there. I'm just letting you know. Make sure you celebrate for Italy, too, all right?
You're letting me know?
Yeah, I'm telling you, Riddler.
We on that night, or is that for you at Carver and sometimes Lisi that night?
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1966, player reps elected Marvin Miller as executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. In 1968, Miller created a collective bargaining agreement, but its biggest impact was the birth of free agency, opening the door for million-dollar contracts like Catfish Hunter in 1974.
To be a Yankee is a thrill. I always wanted to be here in New York and play.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at Chica Palbo on X And stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
When you're a SportsGrid listener, you have an advantage. We bring you sports gaming strategies and information 24/7. We call it the winning edge. Everybody else calls it Stop messing around. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
And we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, Channel 159, here with you on a Wednesday night. Carver Sands, Lisi, Joe out. George Kurtz stops by to say hello for a few minutes. So the trade deadline is Friday, George. So we're almost there. NHL, who has their trade deadline, really, compared to the other leagues, I mean, I guess baseball, what do they do baseball with 2 months left? 60 game, you try to figure it out by percentage-wise. I think hockey still always has it in terms of how late into their season their trade deadline is. You know, there's going to be, some teams in less than 20 games left by the time you get to Friday. We've seen a couple deals already. I don't know how many quote-unquote big deals you're going to get between now and then. But there's one thing that I know for sure, George, and I know you're going to agree with me. If on Friday night, Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, and I'll go a step further, even J.G. Pajot, if all three of those guys are still Islanders on Friday night, they should fire Lamoriello right there on the spot. He shouldn't even be allowed to keep being the general manager. You cannot. I don't care, George, that they're 3 points out with 5 teams ahead of them in that dopey Eastern Conference wildcard race. This is a chance. You see what Tampa got for Yanni Gourde and Oliver Borkstrand today? Tell me the Islanders can't get for Brock Nelson, Kyle Palmieri, Pajot. This is a chance, George, for them to fix some wrongs. And I know they had to pay. We've talked about this. They had to pay guys for those 2 runs, making it to the last 4. They have a chance to fix some of their problems and restock the cupboard a little bit, and they better do it.
See, I'm the pessimist. I'm afraid those guys are going to be on the team, and we're going to have a few others as well because we're going to give away draft picks. Because you already said they won last night, and now they have 3 points behind. It was the worst thing. Why couldn't they lose last night? If they would have lost, there would have been no question in my mind. No question that he would have had to trade out. I think, listen, one good thing is we saw Nelson. He was so upset, or he was emotional in the post game yesterday, right? So he must know there's a pretty good chance that's his last game as an Islander, right? Or at least this season as an Islander. But my God, Mike, I'm afraid they're either going to be additions or nothing's going to happen. He's just going to stand pat here. But after you saw what 2 number 1s go for Bjorkstrand and listen, Yanni Gourde and Bjorkstrand are nice players. Nelson's considered the number 1 player that's available that they think is going to be available on the market here. He has to bring you something stronger than that.
Palmieri shouldn't be that far behind. Palmieri should be in the top 5 also of guys that would be available.
The only
what he's
player
done in the playoffs.
should be trading is probably Sorokin. Everybody else can go. Everybody. Anybody else we talked about. So let's strip it down. They're going to have to eat it for a couple of years. The farm system sucks. Right? There's very little it's going to help all the others down there. They need to build it back up.
Can you even remember the last time that dopey Bridgeport team was even remotely good? I mean, they always suck, that Bridgeport team. They're and I know that that's not, a complete look. It's not like baseball where every guy, the AHL is a little different. It's like 80% your guys. There's a mix of other guys that are kind of on just fill out the roster contracts. But Bridgeport has been pathetic for like 15 years now. They've been awful in that they get smashed in that AHL all the time. They're never good. They don't. And look at some of the guys. Here's another reason why, draft picks, George. Think about some of the guys they had. I know Dobson's been all right. They swung and missed on Oliver Wahlstrom. There's so many other guys that they've swung and missed on throughout the years with these first-round picks. It's tough. They need to do something.
They keep getting middling picks. They need top 5 picks. You need to get that way. For what it's worth, by the way, the 2026 draft, not this coming draft, is expected to be a much better draft. So, but Lamoriello is not going to care about that because he'll be 93 years old before he ever sees these players. And that's the problem. You can't have a general manager that's this old who's only playing for now.
He can't beat a GM anymore, George. He can't beat a GM anymore. I'm sorry. I can't. It's all. I give him all the credit in the world for bringing him and Barry Trotz brought this organization back to respectability when it was an absolute joking laughingstock of the league. But now it is time to move it on to somebody else and hope that it continues to stay somewhat functional. Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. George is staying for one more because I have baseball and football things tomorrow. We're back after this.
Loser is kind of a mean-spirited slur, but it doesn't have to stick. Tell them to listen to SportsGrid and fix it.
No, thank you.
Later. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
Carver and Lisi.
Look at this Memphis team. Unlike
What should do to you?
It's just a bad run. I gotta burn everything, all my clothes. I gotta start fresh. I still blame you with the kibosh, your partner. You know I put out the crypto with Virginia on the face. You look like the Riddler with that shirt on, huh? Riddle me this, Carver. Where's your top hat?
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. The new SportsGrid app is now available on iOS and the App Store. Experience the ultimate sports betting companion that provides personalized content from your favorite hosts. In-depth matchup previews, game and prop picks, live odds, stats, scores, and more. All in one place. And of course, on the SportsGrid app, you can tune into our live television and radio coverage anytime. On the go, wherever you are. Download the SportsGrid app on the iOS App Store now. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. There's something you should know and always remember. SportsGrid does not increase luck. We're your unfair advantage for the latest sports gaming information. If you're looking for luck, go find a horseshoe. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Yeah, and we're back. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM Channel 159. Good to have you aboard here with us. All right, George, a few other things for you with NFL and with baseball. Let me do the baseball first. I need baseball back. I love dingers. You know that. I want to get back to it. We're a couple weeks away. But, man, all I've been seeing lately is just guys getting hurt, George. Like, it's just not even just a Yankee camp. And, I mean, DJ LeMahieu, you breathe on him, and he's out for 6 weeks. But, like, Christian Walker, oblique, Dallas Garcia, all these guys that hit homers, George, you know, it's like with Stanton, too, you know. They get all ripped. They all get these obliques and cores and everything else. Anytime they swing a bat, even remotely just off of what they do, it messes them up for, like, 6 weeks. So, couple sluggers already down, but I guess the biggest for us is, you know, Heel was already, you ain't gonna see Heel till like, what do you think, George? Like July 1st? I mean, this is like Cole last year. They're gonna go the first 3 months without him.
Yeah, I was thinking June would be nice, but July 1st is probably right, somewhere on the All-Star break. They'll be careful, you know, they won't rush him back here. The problem with the Yankees is they don't have a truckload of depth at starting pitching. All right, Strominger 5 now. It leaves Warringer 6. After that, it gets real dicey real quick if they need to dip further into that. So they better hope that Cole, Rodon, Schmidt, who am I leaving out here? Fried, stay healthy there.
Well, and Schmidt, he's never exactly pitched an entire MLB season as a starter either. He always ends up with some kind of problem too. He breaks a fingernail. He does this. Clark Schmidt's not a guy who's made 32 starts over a 6-month period. So I'm nervous about him. That, it can always have Fried. It seems like even when he was in Atlanta the last few years, he always has 1 or 2 stints on the IL every season. So it is a problem that they're going to have sooner or later. But I still believe, George, despite all that, I still believe that another bat's really a bigger problem for them. Because who knows when you're going to see Stanton with the elbows. LeMahieu's a hack. I think they needed.
The best thing to happen was LeMahieu getting hurt. Because now you have to worry about him playing him.
Right.
Listen, they need a third baseman. It's a little
You
ridiculous they don't have a third baseman.
Or Cabrera. Who do you like better out of Peraza and Cabrera?
Probably Cabrera. I mean, I kind of like the kid.
I think there's more upside with Peraza.
Yes.
We know what Cabrera is. Like, I don't think you're going to get any better than what you've seen of Cabrera. He's helpful. He's a good utility guy. You can put him wherever. I think him playing every day, the numbers would eventually start to show it. I don't think we've gotten to see really what Peraza can actually do yet. And I think that would be kind of now, I know they don't want to do that with 2 guys. They're already doing that with Dominguez, hopefully, is just putting him out there and letting him play.
I think for the love of God, can we put him in center field? He's a center fielder. He's been a center fielder his whole career. Now you're putting him in left field why would you want a rookie to be thinking about defense? Put him in center field where he's comfortable. Bellinger can play left. We know that. Well, I don't know why they're making this so difficult.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
They're so nervous
when did Bellinger become Paul? No one knows who Paul Blair is. When did Bellinger become, a center fielder where, oh my God, he has to play? He's not that guy. I mean, I don't understand this. They didn't promise him center field. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why they're doing this and ruining the younger players' confidence who want to be a star. I just don't get it.
You know what always bothers me, and they do this a lot. I'll give them one tiny bit of credit. They did not do it with Volpe a couple years ago when he was a rookie. But if guys get out to slow starts, these young players that they want to try to give a chance to, they always they give them a couple weeks, and then if it's not going well, it's like they pull the plug and they just go in another direction. They can't do that here. If you're going with him, you got to go with him. You can't decide if he starts, $130, maybe misplays a couple balls. You can't decide on May 1st. Yeah, this experiment's over. See you later. Back to Scranton, and we're done. I think you got to let it.
You don't have anybody else. We're going to play Trent Grisham.
That's the thing. I don't want to see Trent Grisham out there every day. You definitely don't want to see that. So they just have to let some things happen to them and try to get themselves another bat at some point because I think that they're going to need that too. NFL free agency is a week away, and I felt like today, George, was the first day where you started to see teams. All right, we're starting to get in order here. Whether it's they're releasing some guys, you had some guys get big deals. There's more trade requests. I don't know what Seattle. I guess they have Jackson Smith and Jigba, but I guess they're revamping their entire wide receiver room because Lockett's going to be gone. Lockett's gone, and Metcalf's going to be gone. Wherever that's going to be. I hope it's Buffalo, but Metcalf's going to be gone. Raiders are obviously changing a lot of things up. They give Crosby a lot of money. They're going to, I don't know if that's the Aaron Rodgers home or not, but they're going to look very different next year. A lot of teams starting to make some moves. Cowboys cleared a ton of space, reworking some deals. There's a lot going on.
I had to hear Jerry Jones say that, I don't think he'll be aggressive in free agency. Of course not, because you don't spend any money. I mean, they didn't spend any money last offseason. They won't. I mean, he'll sign Micah eventually, probably for way too much than he has to. If you would have signed him already, by the way, you would have saved a couple of bucks. But keep waiting for guys like Crosby to sign stuff like that. Jerry is just totally whack. But the new league year starts next week, so we're starting to see, as you said, those teams line up, get under the cap, do what you got to do here. Very surprised with the Thuney trade this morning, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't Kansas City have offensive line problems as it is? And you traded him? I mean, not that he's a Hall of Famer at this point in his career, but that was a little bit of a surprise, Mike. I mean, damn, Kansas City, you got some. Do we have to protect Patrick Mahomes?
I know he's getting up there. I get that point of it, but I guess here's the one thing with Kansas City, George. They pay some of these guys a lot of money. Eventually, it's going to run out. Like Anthony made a lot of money. He's only got 1 year left on his deal. I know you want to keep, having everything, but you can't have it all. Like eventually, you gotta, even when you win every year, you gotta cut a corner here or there somewhere. And I guess that's where they're going to try to cut it this year. But they're so good at drafting, that they'll probably get some kid in the 4th round. That's great. They'll go stick right there at left guard, and he'll be awesome. So, that always happens with Kansas City. I expect it. But I think the statement's been made by Chicago this week. 2 trades for offensive linemen. They had the one with the Rams, too, early in the week. Now Thuney. Ben Johnson, it took him a couple weeks. He looked at all the tape, and he said, none of these guys can block. Go get me some new offensive linemen if you want this quarterback to be good. That's obviously the declaration.
Yeah, plus we know that's what Ben Johnson likes, right? That's what he had in Detroit with Jared Goff. He had maybe the best offensive line in the game here. So he's trying to build that up with Chicago. And listen, it didn't take an NFL head coach to look at the tape of the Bears and realize, oh boy, this line sucks.
Yeah,
I mean, Caleb may not have been great last year, Mike, but he didn't have a lot of time. He was running for his life after snap one. So, I think the offensive line is a good place for the Chicago to start. Settle this kid down, give him an extra second and a half to throw the football, and he'll be much better.
Much better, indeed. So you have all of that. I'm excited for that. Free agency is always fun in the NFL. I can't wait. I think the most fascinating thing is I know that's not fun if you're a Cowboy fan. Is Rodgers going to have a seat? Because if it's not the Giants and it's not the Raiders,
please be the Giants.
I don't think it's anywhere else.
Please be the Giants. I need this entertainment. Please be the Giants.
It would be so great if him and Adams went to the Giants, and especially around here, George. Oh my God! It can't write itself. It writes itself. It's amazing.
Can him and Adams go to the Raiders? Is he going to bring Adams back to the Raiders?
I don't think Adams would go back to the Raiders.
I
think that's the destination where they split up. I don't think he's going to go back there. Even though Carroll's there now and there's a new GM, I don't think they would do it. George, great job as always. See George again next week. He'll pop in on Wednesday night and say hello. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. We're back right after.
Giving you sports gaming strategies and information on the level that other networks wouldn't be comfortable with.
We're the home of the winning edge.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
In 1966, player reps elected Marvin Miller as executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. In 1968, Miller created a collective bargaining agreement, but its biggest impact was the birth of free agency, opening the door for million-dollar contracts like Catfish Hunter in 1974.
To be a Yankee is a thrill. I always wanted to be here in New York and play.
For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
Carver and Lisi.
Where's your long shot, guy?
I mean, it's still probably the same. It hasn't changed. I'm going to actually get some CLV on you right now.
And who's got the CLV? I have the CLV, not you.
You got it, Joe. Who's the best cop? You're the best cop, Joe, all right?
I got the CLV. I got
Who's the best
CLV.
Cop?
It's Carver and Lisi with Mike Carver and Joe Lisi. Weekdays 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Money Line at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi. Then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find Sports Grid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. You may or may not be a good Sports Grid listener. Test yourself. If you think a quarterback is a refund you get at an arcade, you're probably not a good Sports Grid listener.
Pay attention.
Make a plan.
Win.
This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Yeah. And we're back. Carver and Lisi, Sports Grid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Great to have you with us here on the grid. Nice job by George there. A little bit of everything, and it's going to really bother me. I'm telling you right now. I'm going to get real bothered if the Islanders don't trade all those guys by the end of the week. It'll bother me a lot. I jumped in live here, Matthias. It seemed like, I know that I like Oklahoma here tonight, and we do have them. Plus 4.5 at home. But Missouri seems like they're making a little bit of a charge, and I just got Missouri plus the 9.5. So we're going to try to squeeze our way into a little bit of getting both sides of it here. Oh, what is that? So 8:51 to go. It's a 12-point game now. But we're going to get Missouri with 9.5. See if we can make something happen on that front for us. Meanwhile, NBA... couple live games. Fourth quarter, Bucks up 108-81 on the Mavs. Kings up 42-36 on the Nuggets. Thunder and Grizzlies just started. Of course, Pistons and Clippers late night at the Intuit. So you have that still to come. Wizards beat the Jazz 125-122. Cavs beat the Heat 112-107. T-Wolves beat the Hornets 125-110. And the Celtics, of course, beat the Blazers 128-118. And they got 41 from Derek White and 43 from Peyton Pritchard. Two guys scoring 40 points. Pritchard had 10 threes, White had 9 threes. That's wild. Wild night for both of those guys in that. As far as college hoops goes, good steal for Missouri here. Let's go. Here come the Tigers, Matthias. Here come the Tigers. Lose by 8. Come on. Colorado now down 16 at Texas Tech. There's a 3-ball, Matthias. They're down 9. Let's go.
Let's go.
Game. 9.5.
Let's root it in. Let's root it in.
End the game here.
I need some mojo.
Hey,
I need some mojo.
Wisconsin
Let's
up
go.
11. Wisconsin up 11, 40-29. Marquette now leads UConn late in the first half, 35-33. We need UConn to get moving. Ole Miss up 1 on Tennessee. Louisville up 6 on Cal. Elsewhere, a couple other games, unranked games. There's a foul. Oklahoma will go to the line. Stanford up 20-16 on Notre Dame. Notre Dame stinks. Just know that. Loyola up 11 on Davidson. Here we go, Matthias. Loyola up 11. Let's go.
I took you up on that. And did a little 2-teamer right before 6 p.m. Pacific. Tennessee and Loyola at plus 130, right? Bang, bang. And Loyola came out to a fast start. A little bit of a comeback by Davidson.
Yeah,
but it's
now
okay.
They've extended again. Extend.
What's the lead now? What's the lead
for Loyola? Well, they just hit a bucket, so it's 34-25, 9-point lead for Loyola with under 6 to go in the first half. So just extend for all that. As far as the hockey goes, still 2-1 Rangers. Heard George say he's on the under. Matthias is on the Caps, so they need to find something here to tie this game.
I'm on the under too. I grabbed the under 5.5. Right 5 minutes before the second period started when they went to a power play. Fortunately, no goals. The under 5.5 is looking nice right now, but you never know.
The Blackhawks got a goal early in the third from Smith, so 3-3. The George get is over there.
Should we jump in,
and
Mike?
the Blackhawks.
Should we jump in on the Senators? I told myself the last time it was 2-2, I'm like, oh, I should jump in. I didn't do it. And then the Senators took a 3-2 lead. I'm like, you know what? I wish I would have done it there. Now we're at 3-3, same situation. You know what I mean? Let's take the better team. Let's take the team that scores more goals.
Matthias. What's the number right now? Minus 138. All right. How about we put it with you don't want the Ducks tonight. How about the over in Ducks Canucks tonight? Over in Ducks Canucks?
Over in Ducks Canucks? Sure, why not?
And the Kings? And the Kings? All right, here we go. We're in.
I already have so much on the Kings. I got cold feet with the Kings. I already got enough with the Kings.
I didn't have anything on the Kings. So Ottawa, Kings, over Ducks Canucks. That's what I did. Ottawa, Kings, over Ducks Canucks. We're ready to rock.
Let's go. Well, we got to get one right here with Ottawa. We got to get the first one with Ottawa right here.
I think the Rangers, I think the Caps are going to the power play, if I see that correctly.
They are right now.
Big power play for the Caps. So they could use that. Before we get out of here, we come back, I'll quickly go through Thursday's action. And there's a lot of it. Joe will be back tomorrow night. And listen, the golf starts early. Remember, they're back in Florida now, so get them in, get the plays in tonight for the API in Puerto Rico, as we'll have that working for us. This Parker Mosier, 17-12. They're 4-12 in the Big 12. In the SEC, excuse me. There's a dollar in the jar, Matthias. They're 4-12 in the SEC this year. They're a bubble team. Man, you go 4-12 in your conference, you shouldn't even be allowed to make the NCAA tournament. Shouldn't even be allowed.
The Caps just blew this 3-on-1. A 3-on-1, then they blow it.
Matthias is like Joe tonight. He's locked in on this play. He's locked in on that Capital Ranger game. Locked in. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM, channel 159. We will come back, quick rip through everything that's going to go on Thursday. There's a lot of action. We'll go through it next on the grid.
Listening to your source of sports gaming strategies and information.
We call it the winning edge.
It helps make the odds even. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
E-Taste, new virtual reality technology from the University of Ohio that adds the sense of flavor to your VR experience. Better than smell-o-vision. E-Taste, a new dimension in remote virtual immersive food experiences. Basic molecules sense digitally transmitted to chemical injectors remotely replicating the 5 basic tastes of food. Sweet, salty, bitter, and umami, the rich, long-lasting, meaty texture of steak or seafood, or the pungent flavor of aged cheese.
No, Rufin!
Follow me at G Capalbo on X, and stay tuned to The Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Imagine combining the exciting investment opportunity of cryptocurrencies with the power of artificial intelligence to maximize your IRA, 401k, or other investment funds. Listen, if you're looking for ways to accelerate your retirement growth, Block Trust IRA has market-leading strategies and solutions for all levels of investors, from $1,000 to millions. And they partner with Bitcoin Magazine's #1 crypto trading fund in the world to maximize your returns. Plus, their team of IRA specialists is here to help you roll over your IRA or qualified retirement account to the new world of cryptocurrency investments. So make this free call right now to set up your account and learn more.
800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. 800-434-5313. That's 800-434-5313.
We can't make it any simpler, Sporto. All you gotta do is listen to Sports Grid.
That's listen.
Often. Pay attention. Soon you too will have the winning edge. And your friends and family will regard you with quiet awe.
See? Simple.
This is the Sports Grid Radio Network.
Carver Lisi, SportsGrid Radio, Sirius XM 159. Good to have you with us here on the grid. So, we told you Washington was going to the power play before the break. Well, they cashed in, and it was Alexander Ovechkin, number 885. 9 to tie, 10 to break Wayne Gretzky's all-time record. How about that? Ovi getting it run. And they're going back on the power play, so there was a penalty on the play when they scored, Matthias. So they're another 2-minute power play for them?
Another 2-minute power play, but they've already burned through through 45 seconds of it. So Rangers doing a good job killing this one right here so far with about a minute left in it.
Okay.
Dangerous
there you go.
Washington
2-2
now,
games.
but that's what they do. They score goals in the third period, baby. That's what Washington does.
That's what they do. That is indeed what they do. All right. Here we go for tomorrow night. NBA. Bulls are in Orlando against the Magic. Early number, Orlando -7.5. The Pacers are in Atlanta against the Hawks. -2.5 for the Pacers on the road. 246.5. These Hawk games have been screaming over lately. Screaming over. Boston -13.5 against Philly. They didn't play Tatum tonight. I guess he'll play tomorrow night. Geez, those Pritchard and White 3 numbers are going to be ridiculous. The Warriors are in Brooklyn against the Nets. Nets catching 9.5 at home, 222.5 total. Houston -4.5 in New Orleans against the Pelicans. Pelicans have been a little spunky lately. I'd be careful there. And the Rockets have not been playing well. And the game of the night, the Knicks are in LA against the Lakers. Lakers -3.5, 228.5 the total. Obviously, there's some questions about if Cat's going to play. Lakers have won 6 in a row. Knicks have had problems against really good teams. And the Lakers, they qualify as a really good team. Didn't they play the Knicks the night of the Luka trade? That was AD's last game with them. That was that Saturday night, they played the Knicks at the Garden in early February. Super Bowl weekend, right? Or maybe the week of the off, whatever. It was the off week. That's right. It was the Saturday night of the off week for the Super Bowl. So there's your NBA. As far as college goes tomorrow, there's only one ranked team playing, which is Michigan State at Iowa. But there's a ton of other games, a lot of small conference tournament games. Big South Championships. That's a lot of afternoon games. Big South High Point. The Missouri Valley starts tomorrow. Drake's playing. This is Friday I'm looking at here. Hold on. Thursday. They are afternoon games. Indiana State, Southern Illinois, Missouri State, and Illinois State. The WAC gets the WCC, San Diego and Pacific. Sun Belt tomorrow. Summit, Patriot League. Horizons playing again tomorrow night with their quarters. Tons of games for these small conference tournaments, despite only one big ranked game, which is Iowa. And then we got our late night. Could we get Joe in on the Anteaters tomorrow night? -7.5 at UC Davis. Anteaters. Let's go. Where's Hawaii got tomorrow night? They're in Bakersfield. 8-point game here for Missouri. End the game. 4:51 to go. Just end it now. So lots of games, including the 4 Valpo UIC late night in the Missouri Valley. So tons of games. Small conference championships will be in on that. As far as the hockey goes, Utah's in Detroit, Buffalo in Tampa, Columbus in Florida, Bruins are in Carolina, Sharks are in Colorado. So the Sharks won in Toronto, in Buffalo. Now they're going to Colorado, and that's going to be some heavy lumber in that game. Heavy lumber. Early line minus 425 for the Avalanche. Look out. Sharks have won a couple games in a row. Playing a little bit better. And, of course, we'll have some updates on the golf, too. So, Missouri in the mix here. It's an 8-point game. I guess they called a foul. That was a bad call right there. Bad foul call on him. Did they go to overtime yet with Chicago and Ottawa, Matthias?
I believe so, Mike. You know what? My phone literally just died on me. That was the other platform.
Jeez.
Yeah, but there was about 40 seconds left.
I got
the Rangers. I got the Rangers and the Caps on the big screen. So I had 2 platforms right here.
Matthias got a lot going on. Listen, great job tonight by Matthias, as always. Great job by Brady Cannon with the API picks. Of course, George Kurtz stopping by as well. Joe will be back tomorrow. Carver and Lisi, SportsGrid Radio. Cash a bunch of tickets tonight. See you back here tomorrow on the grid for CNL. Have a good night.
Luck is winning the lottery. Strategy is settling your divorce before cashing in the tickets. It's smarter to be on